Hey, Zanish. We will build an internal cheat in Python where the Python code will be injected to the game memory. We will use Python 3.10 for this tutorial, but you're free to use any Python version you prefer. In order to execute our Python code, we will need the Python interpreter to run in the game process. If you go to the Python installation directory, you can find Python 3.10.dll, and we'll copy it to our Python project directory. Let's create the WinAPI Python file. First, we import the necessary modules, seed types, and win32con. Using seed types, we can access the kernel32 module and obtain a handle to it. This handle is stored in the API variable, allowing us to interact with kernel32 functions. Key functions such as open process, close handle, and virtualloc.ex enable us to open a handle to a process and perform memory read-write operations. To locate the executable module of a remote process and retrieve its base address, we use the module32 first and module32 next functions. Additionally, constants like process all access and memcommit are needed for process access and memory allocation. These constants are available through the win32con module. The module entry32 structure is required by module32 first and module32 next to access information about a module in a process. We define this structure using a Python class that inherits from seed types data structure. To create a structure in Python, we define a class with a class keyword, specify seed types or structure as the base class, and define the structure fields using tuples that specify the member names and their corresponding data types. Next Python file is utility.py. Let's import module required for this Python script. Next, we define the hasAttr function, which checks whether a given type has a specific attribute. We then define the getPID function, which retrieves the process ID of a running process. This function iterates through all active processes and compares their names. If a match is found, the PID is returned. Following this, we define the modBase function, which takes a module name as an argument. The primary purpose of this function is to obtain the base address of a module within a process. To achieve this, we first create a snapshot of all modules within the target process. We then define a module entry32 structure to hold module information. The module32 first function is called with the address of the mod entry variable to retrieve the first module in the snapshot. A do while loop, which is simulated in Python, is then used to iterate through all modules. At the end of each iteration, we call module32 next to move to the next module in the list. During this process, we compare each module's name with the provided module name argument. If a match is found, we return the base address of the module. Since we want to use read process memory, we have to create a function type for read process memory, and we also set its return type to bool. Then we have a function read remote memory. This function simply calls read process memory, and we have another function read remote string. This reads a C string from a remote process. The get remote proc address function takes three arguments: the process handle, the module base address, and the function name. Its purpose is to search for a function within the module's export table and return its address if found. First, the function verifies that the module base address is valid, that is, non-zero. It then retrieves the DOS header of the remote process by reading the first 64 bytes of the module. The DOS header contains an important member, ELF in U, located at offset 0x3c, which provides the offset to the ND headers. Using this value, the function calculates the address of the ND headers by reading from module base plus ELF in U and extracts the 4-byte signature from the ND header to verify its validity. Next, it reads the optional headers and checks the magic bytes to determine whether the process is 32-bit or 64-bit. Since the implementation supports both architectures, it handles two possible offsets. In the case of a 64-bit process, the offset is 0x70. From the data directory, it then extracts the export structure RVA and obtains a pointer to the structure. This structure contains key variables, including the number of functions, the number of function names, and the respective RVAs. Before proceeding, the function verifies that the export structure contains valid function names and addresses. To locate the function calculates the addresses of three important arrays: the function address array, which holds the addresses of exported functions, the name array, which contains the name of exported functions, and the ordinal array, which maps function names to the respective addresses. It then reads the RVA values and addresses from these arrays, extracting the exported function names and comparing them against the target function name. Once a match is found, the function retrieves its ordinal value and calculates the function index in the function address array. Using this index, it extracts the correct function address and returns it. We begin by creating a new Python file, injector.py. As usual, we import the necessary modules required for DLL injection. Next, we define a helper function called printError to handle and display error messages. This function helps in debugging by providing clear error messages when something goes wrong. The inject function performs the actual DLL injection. It starts by opening a handle to the target process by calling openProcess. Once the process handle is opened, we allocate memory within the target process to store the DLL path. The allocated memory must be large enough to hold the entire string for the DLL path. After allocating the memory, we write the DLL path to the allocated memory space within the target process. And then we create a remote thread in the target process using the createRemoteThread function. This function calls load library A, passing in the address of the DLL path. This loads the DLL into the process. To ensure that the remote thread completes execution, we use wait for single object, and we set the maximum wait time to 10 seconds. Once the function returns, this indicates that the thread has finished execution. We close the handle to the target process to clean up resources. The code.py file contains the Python code that we need to execute within the game, and it is our internal script. When the Python DLL is injected, the code from this file is loaded into the Python interpreter and executed. Currently, this file contains a script to display the message box. To achieve this, we first import the modules and access the messagebox.a function. We then define variables for the function arguments, including the text and caption. These arguments, along with the required parameters, are passed to messagebox.a, which will display a message box within the game. This is the final Python file, internal.py. The Python files such as utility.py and injector.py that we created in the lib folder, we have to import them as modules here, and then we define the function runCode. Before we can call the runCode function, we also define a function loadCode, where we open a file and read all of its contents to memory. So here we call the getPyID function from the utility file. We get the process ID of the game. Here our game is Sauerbraten, and then we call the inject function from the injector file. This will inject python310.dll into the game. Once the injection is complete, we call the loadCode function. And here we specify code.py file because we want to load the code of the code.py file. And we pass this code string to runCode function. Now going back to the runCode function, we need to get the base address of python310.dll in the game process. So we call modBase function, and then we open a handle to the process. Here we have two calls to get remote proc address. In the first call, we get the address of the function pyinitializeEX. This function is responsible for initializing the interpreter, which is located in python310.dll. So we get the address of this explorer function from it. And the second explorer function that we need is pyrunSimpleString. This function allows us to run the Python code to the interpreter in a process. The only way to call functions remotely is by creating a remote thread. If you want to call the pyinitializeEX function, we use the createRemoteThread function and then pass the address of pyinitializeEX as the fourth argument. Since a thread is created, we must wait for it to complete execution using wait for single object and wait up to 10 seconds. Next, we need to write our Python code into the target process. Before doing so, we must allocate memory within the process. We start by changing the encoding to UTF-8 and then call the visualAlloc.ex function to allocate memory with read, write, and execute permissions. Once the memory is allocated, we use write process memory to write the Python script into the memory region in the game process. To execute the script, we pass the allocated memory address to the pyrunSimpleString function. Once again, we use createRemoteThread to invoke pyrunSimpleString, and we pass the memory address as an argument. Now we can run the internal.py script in Python. If everything is set up correctly, switching to the game and clicking its icon in the taskbar should display the message box. In our code.py file, we will build a cheat that modifies our health. First, we need to get a handle to vcruntime140.dll, which will help us to access memcpy function. Before using memcpy, we define its argument types and return type. To read memory, we create a read memory function where we initialize a string buffer and use memcpy to read data from the game memory. Similarly, for writing memory, we define a write memory function, which will also use memcpy. Next, we specify the memory address where the health value is stored. This address can be found using cheat engine by locating the player's health value and then writing that address to our script. Ideally, we will retrieve the player object dynamically, and access the health value from it, but for now we will use the direct address. We then call the readMemory function to retrieve the health value, convert it to an integer, and display it in a message box. Once the message box is closed, we modify the health value by calling writeMemory, setting it to 50. Let's test our code. Our current in-game health is 100. After running the script, it will display our health in a message box. When we close the message box, our health will change to 50.